All right, welcome back to Foundations of Strength and Conditioning. Today we're going to cover absolute strength and relative strength. So, absolute strength is going to be the raw number lifted, while relative strength is going to be that number also considering body weight, or just quite simply dividing that number by body weight. So, both are very important, but let's see how that plays a role when we're looking at athlete development down below. So, we have athlete 1 and we have athlete 2. When we look at the absolute numbers, we can see that athlete 1 is going to be stronger, but when we consider the relative numbers, you can see that athlete 2 is stronger. What is that telling us, right? Because we kind of have two conflicting data points there. Well, for me, when I look at it, I'm going to weigh a little bit heavier on the relative side because that's going to tell me relative to their body weight, how proficient are they as a lifter or as an athlete? And also, too, is how much load can their bodies handle relative to their size? So for me, when I'm looking at this, I'm going to feel better about athlete 2 because, granted, smaller in size, but their body can handle heavier lifting and has higher output relative to their makeup. Versus athlete 1, they're still doing good, but relative to their size, we can still bump that up. Things to kind of consider from here, the next steps is every sport is going to have their specific needs, just like the position groups within sports or even event groups. Now, when we look at this, is athlete 1, maybe they need to cut weight. Maybe they need to drop that down because they're overweight. That's something we can look at is without even having the athlete lift more weight, if we just have them lose that weight, we can actually bump those relative strength numbers up. So that's an important thing for us to kind of consider there. Another thing is too though, is even just getting an idea of some of the averages that you have on a team of who's on the low side, who's in the middle, or who maybe grades out high. That can tell us too of where we need to kind of push some of our athletes on their developmental path because now we have a better idea of what the norm is within our specific sport. So that's important. Lastly, what I'll say is when we're getting some of these numbers, is we want to consider how are we allowing these athletes to get them? Are we judging it off of technical failure or absolute failure? For me, I'm going to go technical failure because if I'm going to absolute failure, that's going to increase the chance for injury because that's literally going until an athlete cannot complete the lift anymore and you're probably going to get some type of, again, failure in there. So for me, best bet is get these numbers off of the technical side so that way you're coaching it up and you're cutting them off once form starts to break down. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, just to kind of recap this, there's many different ways to look at these two indicators, but they're going to give you a really good idea to help individualize for athletes based on their specific sport needs. Obviously, those are going to be important too when we're considering these because body weight is going to play a huge factor on if an athlete needs to gain size, lose size, but also too, are they maintaining strength qualities while they're doing that? And then lastly too is comparing that throughout the groupings and then just making sure that we're going about it in a safe way. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for tuning in and we'll see you next time.